News 4 never stops watching out for you.
A blizzard warning for parts of the St. Louis area means families are bracing for another round of wicked weather. The store shelves are empty as shoppers prepare for the worst. We have live team coverage to show you road conditions all across the bi-state area and how area road and power crews are working to keep you safe.
But first, News 4 is in storm mode.
Thank you for joining us. The blizzard warning will take effect tomorrow. Missouri Governor Nixon has already declared a state of emergency.
The first round of the winter storm is already creating slick streets and sidewalks. We have live team coverage of the winter storm with 5 crews stationed across the bi-state area.
But first, we want to get right to the forecast. So let's start with our chief meteorologist, Steve Templeton. Steve, what a storm.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse tomorrow, but this first wave is serious because even though it's not real heavy ice accumulation yet, it is ice.
Winter blast has been moving in from the west.
News 4's Jasmine Huda is live tonight in St. Peters. And Jasmine, how are the conditions along I-70 at this hour?
Vicki and Steve, I-70 seemed fine a couple of hours ago, but a lot has changed since then. It is sleeting out here. Driving conditions on I-70, much slower pace. It is slippery and wet, so you want to watch your speed. That is the story throughout St. Charles County and Warren County.
Welcome back to News 4 storm mode coverage. As you can imagine, area grocery stores are really busy over the weekend, seeing double the normal business.
Shoppers were stocking up on eggs, milk, bread, frozen foods, but empty shelves around town were quickly restocked by late morning. We saw that happen at a Super Walmart in Arnold. We also checked with local chains Deerbergs and Schnucks, who say they're ready for the next wave of customers. Both stores moved up some of their deliveries in anticipation of more people shopping for the storm. Families are also stocking up on winter weather supplies like shovels and salt.
News 4's Maggie Crane talked to some shoppers in Jefferson County. And Maggie, after talking to the shoppers, what did you find about the roads in that part of the area?
Vicki, roads so far so good. Rain has been moving through in bands, the hardest about 3 p.m. Then again, just about 20 minutes ago. I mean, take a look at our umbrella from that last one. Already you can see that ice just caked on there.
News 4 never stops watching out for you.
The storm is here. Rain and freezing rain now. The forewarned storm team is tracking what's next.
Standing by, electrical workers ready to go if heavy sleet and snow knock out power. And in St. Louis City,
as we approach this evening time, this 6 o'clock, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be very critical.
News 4 is everywhere. We have live team coverage all across the bi-state on conditions where you live right now. News 4 is in storm mode.
You're watching News 4 at 6 in high definition.
good evening. You are looking live tonight at St. Peters. It is messy and it is dangerous out there, and it is only going to get worse.
Most of the viewing area is under a blizzard warning. That means we could see huge amounts of snow and ice.
In fact, this storm could be one for the record books as it threatens to trap drivers and knock out power to thousands. We are in storm mode. Forewarned meteorologist Ken Earhart is heading up our coverage. Kent?
Let me tell you something, Vicki. This first little wave of freezing rain and sleet that we've had is a tease compared to what is on the way tomorrow and tomorrow night.
A storm of this magnitude can be deadly, but tonight St. Louis City and County are sharing their plan to keep residents safe from this brutal winter weather. News 4's Craig Cheatham has answers from leaders, but first, Craig, what are the conditions like where you are?
Vicki, it was raining quite heavily about an hour ago, but it's raining lightly now. The water is freezing on vehicles, but not on city streets. City street crews are going to be attacking those streets here very quickly to try to make sure that they can keep the ice off them as much as possible.
Bat down the hatches and hold on. The most likely place to get hurt is out on the road.
Tonight, a state of emergency is declared, the National Guard deployed, and a lot of snow is on the way.
We have live team coverage of this winter blast.
I'm Jasmine Huda, live tonight in St. Peters. We'll show you what the roads look like and how crews are preparing for the big one tomorrow.
I'm Matt Cesney, live in West St. Louis County, where the ice has left its mark everywhere. I'll show you how drivers are getting around.
And I'm Deanna Zoga, live in Fairview Heights. Ice is starting to coat tree branches. What about power lines? I'm talking to Ameren, Illinois about its plan.
I'm Craig Cheatham, live in downtown St. Louis. Passengers stuck on a Metro light rail train for nearly 2 hours. That story's coming up.
We'll begin our live team coverage in a few minutes.
But first, here's Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. What a storm we have on our hands.
Yeah.
And we're just getting to the really bad part.
You're right. I mean, this was phase one, a little bit of ice, and thanks to the crews that were salting and treating those roads, a lot of the treated roads handled the ice tonight pretty well, but there's heavy snow on the way.
4 crews have spent the evening traveling the area looking for any problems. We began with Matt Cesney, who is live over I-270 in West St. Louis County. Matt, what do you see?
Well, Vicki, the roads are fine out here, but this ice storm has certainly left an icy glaze over a lot of things out here in West St. Louis County. Take this stop and street sign, for an example, just completely covered in ice. The tricky part tonight is the roads. They are better, but it is hard to tell where the ice is, and it's creating some trouble spots out there. An example, we have some video of an accident tonight on the entrance ramp to 40 in Midtown St. Louis. One car just seemed to skid out of control. We're told no one was hurt there.
The situation has been dicey for Metro, where commuters found themselves stranded. Craig Cheatham is getting answers tonight. And what happened with the Metrolink trains, Craig?
Ice, Vicki. 3 Metrolink trains lost power today, and it's all because of the ice that built up on the Metrolink lines. Those lines provide the power to the trains, and the ice basically forced the trains to lose power. Biggest problem happened on the Shrewsbury line around 5:30 this evening. A train lost power on a bridge in the Brentwood area and was stuck on the bridge for an hour and a half to 2 hours. Metro wasn't sure if the train had working heaters.
We have the Metro East covered as well tonight.
News Force Deanna Zoga is there. And Deanna, you've been there for much of the day. What are you seeing tonight at this hour?
Well, Vicki, you know, we're not seeing a lot of ice on the roads, but I want you to take a look at the accumulation in the trees. Now, just imagine this ice on power lines. We're talking if it gets up to about ½ an inch, that's when we're going to see the problems. Even just a ½ of an inch of ice on those power lines in combination with high winds will cause those widespread power outages. Now, we went to Ameren, Illinois' War Room in Belleville, where their emergency planning happens. The power company has hundreds of workers on standby, ready to respond to outages.
Well, it has just turned over to snow, and heavy snow in the last, I'd say 10 minutes or so here, Robin, to the point that, well, let me get out of the way here so you can get a look at it yourself. We have been dealing with sleet here in St. Peter's as part of what meteorologist Krista Cornett referred to there for hours now, and it had started to accumulate to the point where you already couldn't see any of the surface lots here. That was just sleet. Now we're getting snow on top of that.
News Force Mark Schneider is live. He's in Fairview Heights with a look at what our Illinois viewers are dealing with. Hi, Mark.
Hey, hands full of sleet. It's been coming down for more than an hour now. We got a nice white sheet of sleet all over the place. But one of the big concerns with all the freezing rain we had earlier is power lines coming down. With the winds and the freezing rain, you can see ice building up on those power lines. Well, Ameren, Illinois has called in for reinforcements.
She's on the road. She's reporting via Ustream technology in her phone. Now, she is in the passenger seat. Photojournalist Gary Womack is in the driver's seat. Now, they're heading east on Interstate 70. They're in O'Fallon, Missouri. And Diane, you're a little further west. What are you seeing at this point?
Well, we just entered St. Peter's, just left O'Fallon, and we actually have 2 lanes of traffic moving now. It was down to 1 back towards Forestville.
News 4 is in storm mode.
Good evening. The blizzard warning and the winter storm warning are still in effect tonight.
That winter blast began with ice and slush. Then snow became the bigger problem for many. Now we're preparing for wind. Here's a live look outside from Wentzville. This is where emergency crews are working on major highway closure. Interstate 70 is shut down in both directions from Wentzville to Kansas City, a 200-mile stretch of Interstate 70. A couple other big things to note. Tonight's Blues game is canceled. If you have kids at the University of Missouri-Columbia, classes are canceled tomorrow. And our forewarned storm team has been working around the clock this week. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Steve.
And we're not out of the woods yet, so let's get to what's happening now, what to expect going forward this evening. We still have that blizzard warning from St. Louis and areas west and northwest because we're going to get some snow. Some areas already have a lot of it. And the winds are going to pick up. Right now, gusts are around 20 to 25 miles an hour. Not too bad, but when they get up around 35 miles an hour, in this area shaded in red, that's where you'll have snow, winds that could create near blizzard conditions. Basically, that means near whiteout conditions.
Earlier in the day, the streets in downtown St. Louis were pretty dicey, and that caused problems for workers who had to go into work.
Let's check in with Russell Kinsall. Russell, how are the roads downtown right now?
Not too bad. All in all, city officials say it's been a pretty good day for them. Because traffic has been so light, they've been able to have 2-3 trucks at a time plowing city streets. In some places, they say they've been able to plow down to the bare pavement, so they're making a lot of progress.
I-270, one of the area's busiest highways during a normal rush hour.
And drivers who didn't stay home struggled in West St. Louis County. Take a look. These drivers spinning out of control on the highway. As a result, they're stuck off the highway. They got to dig out. All they had to dig out to use were pieces of cardboard. Chris Nagy has been along the Kelly overpass all afternoon. In this case, they found a shovel. How are roads doing?
Well, Larry, it's a good thing a lot of people stayed home. Normally at this time at the 5 o'clock hour, 270 here near Manchester would be stacked in both directions, north and southbound. That is not the case tonight.
Craig Cheatham has spent the day in the Metro East, and Craig is live in Fairview Heights tonight. Craig?
Vicki, we are live at the St. Clair Square Mall in Fairview Heights. As you can see, not open for business today. They plowed the lot, and this is one of the larger piles of ice that we have. The sleet freezes together, and you can't even hardly stomp into the stuff. This is the stuff that's glazing the roads here in the Metro East and pretty much throughout the entire metro area.
The winter blast blew in from the west.
Maggie Crane spent time on the leading edge in Lincoln County. And Maggie, what are the conditions at this hour?
Larry, right now they're nearly impassable. The more rural you get and the farther west you get, not a good combination for the people of Troy and in Lincoln County.
News 4 never stops watching out for you.
News 4 remains in storm mode as the entire area feels the effects of snow, ice, and high winds. Not even the trucks can get through. Right now, Interstate 70 remains closed from Wentzville all the way to Kansas City.
Snowplows not immune to this bad weather. This is at Hudson and Chardonier in Florissant. A witness says the truck just tipped over. The driver was not injured, but rescue crews had to help him get out. Because of the bad weather, that truck might be in that condition for some time. Most heeding the warnings to stay home. Some had no choice but to venture out. Extra crews were being called in to respond to any down power lines. So far, that's not a major problem. Thank you for joining us. News 4 has half a dozen crews on the street, continuing to follow cancellations and other issues.
From sleet to slush and now snow, there is still a lot going on tonight. We begin with the forewarned storm team and Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
It is a day and a night to stay inside. Much of the region covered in a thick layer of snow, ice, or both. Maggie Crane spent the afternoon around Lincoln County, joining us in Troy, and I saw what you're saying, Maggie. A lot of that is now in a horizontal position when it comes to the weather, right?
It really is, Larry. I mean, it's hitting just dead on out of the west here and still coming down pretty much with a vengeance. We're here at the corner of 47 and 61 in Troy, and this seems to be the kind of the hot spot for a lot of these snow plows, the local plows, to stop to refuel and kind of get their bearings about them before they head out again. They've got a big mess ahead of them here. You have all this snow. It's also blowing on top of ice. I mean, just look at the car. Everything that's sticking isn't just snow, but it's this ice, and that's really the problem here.
News 4 never stops watching out for you.
Sleet and blinding snow pounded the area. Whiteout conditions close two interstates.
It's terrible.
The National Guard is activated.
How bad were the roads?
Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
No one is left untouched.
He just toppled over.
Even the snowplows are in trouble. Drivers are stuck and shoppers are struggling everywhere. Tonight, there is ice coating the power lines, a sign of more problems to come.
Thank you for joining us tonight. St. Louis bracing for a different set of problems. Fierce winds, blowing snow. That's going to make for a dangerous commute tomorrow morning.
Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton and the forewarned storm team tracking the threat for tomorrow. So we made it through today.
Yeah.
Now there's tomorrow.
Yeah, we got a lot of sleet in St. Louis, and of the heavy snow, heavy sleet, or heavy freezing rain, sleet's the best because it's not going to blow around.
Major problem in some parts of the area, the snow, of course, especially for drivers on I-70, which is closed past Wentzville.
That is not the only problem. We have crews all across the area from Troy, Warrenton, St. Peters to De Pere, St. Louis City, into the Metro East and Fairview Heights. It's been a long night for our reporters, a long day for all the crews. We began our team coverage with Maggie Crane in Troy, Missouri. What's your latest condition, Maggie?
Larry, all day long, it's been a wash of sleet, snow, ice, wind, and at times near whiteout conditions.
We mentioned that I-70 is closed. That shutdown reached all the way across the state to Kansas City. I-44 is also closed in the southwest part of the state. And News 4's Matt Cesney is live tonight along Interstate 70 in Warrenton. Matt?
Yeah, Vicki, all quiet here on 70 in Warrenton right now. We had been seeing an occasional car or truck on the interstate, but not any.